Welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how to get through interview season. And this could still be applicable for those of you who are still in the current cycle because some schools, particularly DO schools, do give out interviews much later into the summer, possibly all the way through the spring as well. So I thought this would be a good video for you guys as well, but also just what to expect for interview season and how to prepare for those who are applying in the upcoming cycle. And remember this always, you got this. They would not be inviting you for an interview if you didn't deserve it, or if they didn't imagine you being a good fit into their class, and if they didn't imagine you being a good physician. So if you're getting interviewed, you're getting interviewed for a reason. So be happy, be proud of yourself for making it to this point, and be confident. Okay, so let's get into the basics. When do interviews start? Interviews can start anywhere between July and occur all the way through March of your application cycle. So for the upcoming cycle, that would be July 2024, all the way up until March 2025, and this can run through April 2025 as well. Just a note that DO schools do run later. And something to note is that they can be scheduled only a few days in advance, meaning you'd be invited on Monday to interview on Thursday or something like that, or you can be given a whole few months to prepare. And there's benefits and disadvantages to both of them. I think the main benefit for few days in advance is that whatever you know about the school remain fresh in your mind and you kind of have that excitement for that school. But when an interview gets scheduled a few months out, you may have other interviews in between and you might be mixing up schools. But still, just know that it can be scheduled on a whole range of length out. Okay, so here's what you need to prepare for, whether you're given a few months notice or a few days notice or even 24 hours notice. First thing you need to do is review the school inside and out. If you know students who go to that university or went to that university, reach out to them. Sometimes the pre-med department in different undergraduate schools will have a whole database of students from that school who went to various different medical schools. So what I did was I reached out to my undergrad and asked if they knew any students who are at or went to the school that I'm about to interview for, so I could reach out to those students or graduates. Just know everything about the school, know what people like to do at that school, what type of research is going on, and maybe what labs they have as well. Definitely peruse the whole website. Know what their mission is. Know if they have community clinics or anything of that sort. Just know all of that. And for some schools, they do tell you beforehand who your interviewer is. So if you do know who your interviewer is, make sure you look them up. Maybe you have something in common. Maybe you did neuroscience research and your interviewer is a professor of neurology. You can find things to relate with your interviewer on if you know about them beforehand, so definitely look them up. They usually have their own research profile or bio on the website of the school itself. Remember I said review the school inside and out? Review your application inside and out. They might be pulling stuff that you wrote in secondaries months ago. They might be pulling out stuff from your activities section, which you haven't looked at since you first submitted your primary. So make sure you know your own application inside and out, because if there's even a single thing that doesn't add up, particularly for open file interviews when they do have your entire application in front of them, if there's a single thing that doesn't add up, that could paint you as a liar when maybe you just forgot. So make sure you know your own application inside and out. And kind of along those lines, know yourself inside and out. Know why you deserve this. Know the type of person you are and how you align with the school's mission and the school's beliefs. So know yourself inside and out. The most commonly asked questions in interviews that I have noticed are, tell me about yourself. That's usually the first thing they all start with. This is one that can be practiced. Obviously, don't sound like a robot, but definitely have a quick 1 to 1.5 minute spiel about yourself. Maybe start up with where you grew up and some of your hobbies, your childhood, and quickly go into your undergrad and how now you're applying to medical school. Sometimes people confuse this with this, which is why medicine. So don't give away too much about why medicine in the tell me about yourself section, because the why medicine question will come up. It will come up, guaranteed. And particularly prepare why DO. If you're interviewing at DO schools, did you have a DO family medicine doctor? Did you see OMM in action? Anything of that sort. Prepare why DO specifically, because they want to know that you want to go to their school and that you align with the beliefs of their school, not just as a backup. Another question that came up a lot was obstacles you faced or difficulties that you faced and how you overcame them. So keep this in mind. I'm sure you can think of one place in your entire pre-med journey where you suffered, so definitely prepare this one. Another common one, particularly for schools who have mission statements aimed at kind of combating health disparities and things of that sort, a time you worked with a diverse or different population and what you learned. So keep this in mind as well. Now, one important thing, I kind of touched on this in the introduction, one important thing is that confidence is key. You cannot go into an interview doubting yourself or feeling imposter syndrome and feeling that you don't belong at this interview, you don't deserve to be here. Yes, you do. You deserve this. You definitely deserve this because they invited you for a reason. Just make sure you're going in with that mindset, because if you're too nervous, if you're kind of stuttering over your answers and not being strong in your opinions and your stories, then it's not going to go too well. So if you have the confidence and belief in yourself, your interview will go just fine. And now I have a few other things that I recommend doing. I recommend kind of just writing bullet points. This is what I did because I didn't want to practice every answer that I had out loud and over again to the point where it sounds so rehearsed and to the point where I'm not having an actual conversation with my interviewer, but rather just kind of regurgitating spiels and blurbs that I memorized beforehand. So what I like to do is make bullet point answers. Just know the things that you want to touch up on in case they ask any questions. So I had a little document where I just wrote possible questions and bullet points of things I wanted to include in my answers. That was really, really helpful for me because I knew exactly how I wanted to answer when they asked a question that I had prepared for, but I also wasn't sounding too rehearsed. So don't sound too rehearsed. Definitely do mock interviews. Again, don't do too many to the point where you're just stressing yourself out and sounding too rehearsed. Try to reach out to your undergrad and see if they can host a mock interview session. Otherwise, reach out to a family member or a close friend, someone that can judge you without having other personal thoughts about you. So someone that can judge in a very objective manner. And finally, get a good night's rest before your interview. Usually interview days can run for a whole entire work day. I remember I was staring at my screen for up to 7 hours at one point during interviews. So make sure you get a good night's rest the night before. Quickly review the bullet points that you made and go right to bed. Don't overthink it. You're going to be just fine. And if you have any other questions about interview season or anything that you think I can improve in my video, then definitely leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching.